Hey everyone, I thought I'd stop and make a reel instead of a story, and it's just to kind of address some of the people that have been messaging me. Thank you so much for thinking of not only me, but all of us here in Japan. Um, yeah, it's kind of weird because I had plans today to go out and meet a friend, a coworker, and when I hadn't heard anything on the news. I didn't watch the news this morning because I was leaving early in the morning. And once I got on the subway, because I was taking the subway from my home station, Azumino, into Sakuragicho, which is in Yokohama, and we were going to meet for lunch. We were going early because we were going to eat at Sizzler. We did eat at Sizzler. And because the reservations were all booked up, it was kind of first come, first serve. So when I was on the subway, I noticed they have like this little kind of like a advertisement screen on the subway. It usually has news clips or things like that. And I noticed that it said there were going to be train delays because going towards Odawara, which is like if I were going to Shizuoka and going from where I am in Kanagawa down towards Shizuoka, that's one of the areas you pass. And it said that there were tsunami warnings. So that was all I had heard. I didn't really see anything on social media, or I didn't hear of anything. So as soon as I got into Sakuragicho Station, there were a few like signboards saying that there might be train delays because of the tsunami alerts. And so when I met my friend, Ayano, thank you for her coming out to see me, we went out to lunch. We were both kind of checking our phones to see if there was any information because we knew that there was a tsunami warning, but I asked her if there was an earthquake, and neither of us knew, so I didn't know that there was a huge earthquake in Russia. We got in to Sizzler. We were relaxing, eating, just as if nothing was wrong, because nothing didn't seem wrong, and there were no announcements or nothing that made us think that anything was wrong. And then we talked, and we thought there would only be like a 2-hour limit because we didn't have reservations, and we thought if it's crowded, right, sometimes they ask you to leave after 2 hours. But we had been talking, had a great lunch, by the way. And then we finished about 2-ish, I guess. We were like still there, or almost close to 2. And she asked, did I have any plans? And I said, no, I just had to go to the supermarket before going home. So we were going to just walk around the area because it was such a nice day. Beautiful weather today. It was windy, so it was a lot cooler. We were walking, and it was really kind of eerie because normally Yokohama is a pretty crowded area with this guy, with a lot of tourists and stuff, and there weren't very many people walking around. I had mentioned how Cosmo World, because she had asked me if I'd been to Cosmo World, and yes, I have, and yes, I rode the roller coaster and the Ferris wheel. But I said that there's like an ice room or a cool room, so if you need to cool down, you could go in there and get cooled off. But as we were walking from Sakuragicho Station, we went through Queen Square because the Sizzler was in Queen Square. We went that way, and I don't know. Didn't you say you wanted to go see the ocean? I don't know. It's just kind of funny. So we were walking outside, going actually towards where the port is, and it was really eerily empty. Like there were people around, but most of them were foreigners like us. Well, Ayano's not a foreigner, but you didn't see very many like Japanese families or anything. You saw tourists. I remember like when I came in the morning, there was a summer camp group of young kids. So there were people in the area, But I was looking at the rides and nothing was moving. And so we noticed that there was a sign on Cosmo World. If I'm looking, I'm looking at the screen because I'm watching the news right now. But the sign at Cosmo World said because of the tsunami warning, the amusement park was closed. And they're just saying one person has died, a 58-year-old woman. A 58-year-old woman that was trying to evacuate. I guess her car fell off the cliff. Anyways, yeah, so we kind of thought, my biggest worry was if something had happened, the trains and transportation was going to be disrupted. And of course, transportation was going to be disrupted. So of course I didn't want anything. I needed to get home to Bandit, right? I mean, that's always my first thought, is being able to get home safely so that if something did happen, at least, we'd be together. Strangely enough, if you guys remember, they had that earthquake prediction that a big gigantic earthquake was going to happen in Japan on July 5th. And okay, don't worry, that's the TV. As you can't really always listen to predictions and superstitions because you get those all the time, right? You always hear predictions from psychics saying that this is going to happen or this is going to happen. But I think you always have to be prepared for any emergency, earthquake, typhoon, tsunami, whatever. It's always nice to be prepared. One of the things, I kid you not, that I've been doing, which I know sounds, maybe some of you are going to think, oh, Kim, you're so silly, but it just makes me feel better, so I don't care. But ever since that July 5th prediction, I've been wearing a whistle on me all the time. And the whistle is just in case something happens and I need to get help and I'm trapped. I watched the Titanic. No, I watch a lot of disaster movies. I always have since I was little. And there's just certain things I think you can do if you need to get help. And there's nothing wrong with having a whistle on you at all times. In my bag, I have a flashlight. I have a lot of things just to feel better about if anything happens. So anyways, Ayano and I were walking and we both kind of looked at each other like, should we go back? And we both said, yeah, I don't want to be the one in the news that gets swept away just because they didn't pay attention to the warnings. But the weird thing, which we both kind of said, is there weren't as many warnings for people that were already out. Do you know what I'm saying? So if you happen to watch the news, or if you, I guess if you're in an area where they can make announcements and alerts, you hear the news, right? But if you're a tourist, and we saw a family that came to Cosmo World and the dad or the guy was saying, oh, it's closed. Oh, why is it closed? And they asked somebody and the lady they were with said, oh, a tsunami warning. You kind of start getting freaked out that, okay, something's up. I have never seen Yokohama area right around Sakuragicho so empty. Other thing I noticed is when Ayano and I met at 10:30, the sky buckets were running, the sky cabins, which is like a little sky ride that takes you from Sakuragicho Station to the World Porter's shopping area. And there was a line there, but when we came back, I noticed it was closed. It was windy, so I thought maybe they close it for, the wind. Once we got into the station, I thought there would be more signs like saying, hurry up and get home, or traffic might be delayed or something. But there really wasn't, or maybe there was and we just didn't realize it. So Ayano and I said we're both going to head home and notify each other when we got home, just to know that each other got home safely. And my aunt had sent me a message asking if my place in Shizuoka was in the area where the tsunami might hit. And so then I thought, oh, okay, well, obviously this is big news if you guys in other parts of the world are hearing this information and you're checking up on me. So I thought, okay, I need to get home ASAP. I went on the subway, and the subway I thought would be super crowded, especially if people were trying to get home quickly. No problem. I even took the rapid subway home, so it didn't have as many stops. Got into Osmino Station, thought it would be wise to stop at the market and just picked up a few essentials, which I was planning to do anyway. Came home, turned on the news, and let's see, I wonder if I can turn this around and show you. I guess I can't flip the camera, but it does say, let me see if I'll go this way. It does say, like, okay, tsunami, evacuate, right? So I turned it on the English news, okay? And I guess the big danger is these people that are having to evacuate, it's super hot outside. And you have to be careful of heat stroke and staying hydrated. So people that are having to evacuate to higher areas, I mean, it's the male person. The conditions are pretty bad. Sorry, our post officer just delivered some mail. Anyways, yeah, so the particular area where I live in, I think is okay. I don't see it. It's not on any list. However, there's a lot of areas where I do know people and have friends and coworkers whose areas are listed to evacuate. I would guess that my place in Shizuoka is probably, it could be an area where it might or the people might have to evacuate. My Shizuoka place, my unit is on the 7th floor, and Shizuoka has a lot of tsunami walls and preventative measures. But that being said, there's certain areas that I'm seeing that do say that they are evacuating. It's because, right, Shizuoka is closer, I think, to the ocean than where I am here. I think the scary thing, not only for me, but for my fellow foreigners, is sometimes you just really don't know what exactly is going on. So it's really, really important to put on the news. NHK has an English channel. They have other languages other than English if you're not fluent enough in your Japanese to understand everything that's being said. I assume that if we do have to evacuate, they'll come and tell us, or we'll see it, and maybe there's people that come through the neighborhood to tell us. I don't know. And sadly, my neighbor next door and the across the street neighbor moved, and I think if we did have to go, my across the street neighbor would have been probably the ones that would tell me. I don't think, like I said, I don't live near the ocean or near the areas where they are evacuating. I think we're okay, and should I have to, I know where one evacuation area is, but if I had to go to a school, I would assume I would just go to the school that I work at, because going onto the rooftop there, I think, would be probably the safest place. And when I'm watching the news, a lot of places do evacuate to school buildings and go on the rooftop. I just, I'm just looking, they're just reporting a 90-year-old man is suffering from heat stroke. I don't think he passed away, but it's just, the conditions right now are so bad with the heat. I can't imagine what people are going through. Once again, I thought about going even live on YouTube, but I'm sure everybody, hopefully by now, has been alerted that there are multiple areas where evacuation is happening. Oh gosh, it's just really sad, because you're just now all these reports of people that are
and a woman in her 40s in Kushiro City was taken to the hospital.
Yeah.
She was saying she cannot breathe.
A lot of it's just I mean, it is scary, right? But the thing is like, I think if there was an earthquake first, like if we had felt it, everybody kind of knows, like, okay, this is happening. When it's a typhoon, you see the conditions, but a tsunami, I didn't realize that it could just be like a normal, ordinary day. So for tourists, right, if they are not aware of what's happening, you would just think it's a normal, ordinary day. And maybe when you go to a place that's closing, or they tell you this and that, oh, yikes. They would tell you, right, that there's a tsunami alert and you need to get back to your hotel or whatever. All I am going to do, I'll keep the news on. I'm just looking, they keep showing like areas where it looks like the water has risen from certain parking lots that are near the seas. Some of these areas right now, they're like south from me. So most of these are, it hasn't, I don't think, hit the main Tokyo area yet, but I'm just gonna, stay here and keep it on the news and watch out. Once again, if you follow me, or if, if you're somebody that really probably had no idea that this was happening, turn on your news to NHK or whatever news station you watch. If you aren't near a TV, you can go to one of the news areas. They do have multi-languages. Is that the right word? They do have other languages, so you can get the information in the language that you are most fluent in. But it's kind of scary to see that tsunami evacuate in big, bold letters. It keeps posting the areas. Like Ito Peninsula, the peninsula like near in Shizuoka, where I used to take Sinbad on vacations and stuff, that area I would assume is not a safe area. I think anywhere near the water. I was talking about this with Ayano, like a lot of times when these warnings come or there's like typhoons, it's a time when so many surfers like to take advantage of the waves and stuff, but don't do that. And there's the curiosity, right, to see what's happening. Don't do that. Follow the directions, even if it seems like it's not going to hit your area, or it's not going to be it's not going to be in an area where you're in jeopardy. Just pay attention to the warnings, be on guard all the time, because you never know with these disasters what might happen. Plus, too, it also really affects transportation. And that's why Ayano and I both wanted to get home as soon as possible, because if the train stop, we'll be stuck in an area and we'd probably have to evacuate and not be able to get home.
Warning has been issued.
Okay.
And one wave higher than 1 meter has been observed.
Okay, I guess some waves in certain areas are getting higher. All right, so anyways, I appreciate those of you that have messaged asking if we are okay. Bandit and I are fine. We are just going to keep on the alert and make sure that we follow whatever instructions we need to. But like I said, I don't think I'm in any immediate danger, but please keep those that are, or those that are having to evacuate in this heat, are okay. Yeah, let's hope for that this gets resolved soon. Temporary shelter is not a place, Thank goodness, like thinking about, man, last year at this time was when my mom was still in the hospital. Yeah, she would have still been in the hospital. And, and I know that there are people that would need assistance evacuating, and just this heat alone, it's just not the greatest condition. So please keep everybody in your prayers and send good energy, and I will be back again soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.